Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Corsack, coming at y'all today on Wednesday, March 25th. I apologize to all my live audience. We are a couple minutes late today. It's not my fault. TikTok had an update and I had to just wait around until that thing downloaded absolutely nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you guys are having a phenomenal start to your day. I hope your basketball team won last night, even though there weren't that many games. Hopefully you're not a Kings fan. That's pretty much the nicest thing I can probably say this early in the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very, very, very happy to have all of you guys tune in today. We have a very fun episode today. I know I always say that, but we have a very fun one today. We're going to be breaking down some of the recent win streaks that are happening in today's NBA season. On top of that, we are also going to be playing a very fun game that we haven't done in a while called Would You Rather. So be sure to stick around to the very end of this episode, because after we break down and talk about some of these games that happened last night, we're going to be playing a fun game of Would You Rather. And I have 4 topics of discussion in that episode, in that segment. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps me more than y'all could possibly understand. Yes, I'm talking about you guys who listen on Spotify, on Apple. Pause the podcast, take 1 second out of your day and leave a 5-star rating and review. Excuse me. And then on top of that as well, I would like to say, be sure, live crew, TikTok, YouTube, be sure to drop some likes, drop a follow. Remember, we do these live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And Twitch chat, you guys got the easiest job in the whole entire world. And I see somebody in the TikTok is very jealous of the Twitch chat right now. He wants me to unban him for the sexist comment that he made yesterday in stream. Sorry, sir, but you will never be unbanned from the Twitch. You belong in the TikTok. Twitch chat, all y'all got to do is sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, an energy drink, and enjoy the show. He's saying he's sorry, and I'm not sorry. You can hold that ban. We don't tolerate sexism in my Twitch community. You can stick around in the TikTok. Loser! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get started with our first recap of last night. The New York Knicks win 7 straight games as they defeat the hot New Orleans Pelicans. The hot New Orleans Pelicans. Now, I got to be honest, man. The Pelicans have been playing incredibly well. Incredibly well. And on top of that, the Knicks have as well. The issue with it is I've been wondering lately, why have I not talked about the New York Knicks? Why have I not discussed the New York Knicks? They're on a 7-game win streak, and I haven't mentioned them a single time through this streak. So I did a little digging and I remembered why I haven't talked about them. Now, I'm going to say this immediately, get it out of the way right away so that Knicks fans can't get mad at me, okay? Listen, I'm all for beating the teams in front of you. I'm all for that. Beat the competition laid out in front of you. The issue is there really hasn't been much competition in front of them. If you guys gauge your eyes on the schedule, their win streak consists of 0 playoff teams. In fact, it only consists of 1 play-in team. Their schedule consists of beating the Jazz, tanking team, the Pacers, tanking team, the Warriors, barely a play-in team, the Indiana Pacers, again, tanking team, the Brooklyn Nets, tanking team, the Washington Wizards, tanking team, and the New Orleans Pelicans, former tanking team, not a play-in team. They were just eliminated out of play-in contention last night after losing this game. So that's why we haven't talked about the New York Knicks. That is why we haven't discussed what the New York Knicks have been up to. That's the main reason. So Knicks fans, I'm not going to make fun of y'all for the teams that you guys beat, because you're supposed to beat teams in front of you. You guys did what you were supposed to do. Were some of the games close? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. The New York Knicks have been playing pretty good basketball. And I'm not going to get on their back about their schedule that they've had. You got to beat who's in front of you. That's how the NBA works. That's how sports works. That's how everything works. Last night, though, very fun. Very, very, very fun game. I thought Mikal Bridges would finally score 15 points in a game. That didn't happen. He had 14 and he had a good start, but he ended up shooting 4 for 10 from deep and 5 for 12 from the field. OG Anunoby is looking solid again, which is great. I think he's finally getting healthy. He had 21 points on 7 for 16 shooting. Karl Anthony Towns has been having a very quiet year, and he's been doing pretty decent, like overall throughout this win streak as well. Pouring in another double-double, 21 points and 14 rebounds. He was a minus 11 on the court. Josh Hart, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Jalen Brunson, again, 32.7 assists, 11 for 19 from the field. Steady, steady, steady Brunson. They're going to need him going into the playoffs, so hopefully he can stay healthy. Hopefully he has 15 ankle replacements back in the locker room, because we all know when Jalen Brunson, when he goes into the locker room, he just replaces his ankle and comes back out onto the court and looks brand new. I would also like to give shout outs for the contributions last night from Jordan Clarkson and Mitchell Robinson. They both played incredibly well. Especially, Mitchell Robinson went 5 for 5. He almost had a double-double with 4 offensive rebounds just in 21 minutes. And Jordan Clarkson had 10 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, and shot 4 for 6 from the field. That's incredible. So the Knicks had a great game. And on the other side, the Pelicans did as well. Zion, 8 for 10. I think one of his only misses got blocked by OG when he was like doing a fadeaway, like post. It was like a post spin move, I think, and OG blocked him. DeJounte Murray had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists. And yeah, listen, the Pelicans are playing really, really good basketball. I don't want to just go through and read stat lines. What I want to basically talk about is how well the New York Knicks have been playing as of late. Now, of course, we know they just played 7 of the worst NBA teams in the NBA, but they won all those games. Now, I don't care about the whole spiel of, look, they've played nobody. They've played nobody. And while you can say that, what good team doesn't lose against a mediocre or bad team every now and then? It happens. And especially close games. Like they barely beat the Nets. They barely beat the Pelicans. But at the same time, they are now tied with the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics are like decimal points ahead of the Knicks. I believe that's because they own the season series, I think, if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, Celtics fans. But yeah, they're tied for the second seed. Technically, the Celtics still own it. But, hey, they won the games they needed to. Oh, they have less losses. That's why the Celtics are microns ahead of the Knicks, which makes sense. The New York Knicks have been playing really, really good basketball lately. I'm curious who has the tiebreaker. We still play them. So I'm curious if you guys can let me know in the Twitch chat what the record is between the Knicks and Celtics. I'm very curious because I am unsure of that. So, ladies and gents, overall, I'm very, very impressed with the New York Knicks. I know they haven't played very good teams. I know they haven't. In fact, no, they've only played bad teams for the last 7 games. Oh, it's 2-1 Knicks. Okay, so this is a very important next game that they play together. I'm assuming they probably play each other next week. That's going to be very interesting. Let me check their upcoming schedule. Yeah, okay, so they're not playing until 2 weeks from now, which is, okay, so that's the last week of the regular season. Wait, so that might be when players are starting to rest for the playoffs. They play them on April 9th. Ooh, that might be the last game that you see the starters play a whole lot for the Knicks and Celtics. Unless they're trying to go for awards. That should be interesting. Man, the Knicks have been playing really, really well. Their schedule does ramp up just a tiny bit. They got the Hornets on Thursday. They got the Thunder on Sunday. And then they got the Rockets on Tuesday. And then they got easy games with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Chicago Bulls. So, honestly, I know I haven't talked about the New York Knicks in a while. But, hey, man, they made it through their cakewalk of a schedule. And they didn't lose a single game. So, I have to give credit where credit is earned, Shout out to the homie Ayo for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch. He literally said in the TikTok, I'm coming to the Twitch. And that's exactly what he did. If you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription. So I appreciate you for tuning in to the Twitch. Shout out to the Knicks for winning their 7 games in a row. I can't say a whole lot about this team other than they beat 7 tanking teams and they did what they were supposed to do. And sometimes doing what you're supposed to do is difficult. So shout out the Knicks for that big win, and shout out the Pelicans. I'm really happy with how they've progressed throughout the year. It's truly unfortunate that they are now eliminated from all playoff and play-in contention, but I have really liked what I've seen out of them. They've been one of the hottest teams over the last month of basketball, and I think it's a good note to Pelicans fans because maybe Joe Dumars did know something. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All in all, I think the Pelicans are going to be making some moves this summer. I think they have to. It wouldn't surprise me if Joe Dumars or Troy Weaver is fired this summer. It won't surprise me. I know they just got hired, but it won't surprise me. It won't surprise me if they get fired because of their lack of moves at the deadline. I think they were capable of making some sort of moves that could actually move the needle, not just Jose Alvarado. I'm talking about adding future pieces to this team. I am seeing some Twitter fans starting to get on the back of Trey Murphy and insult him, saying that he's got no bag offensively other than a step back three and driving to the hoop. He's super athletic, but I like Trey Murphy. He's young. I like this team. I like DeJounte Murray. I really like almost every player on the Pelicans. I hope for the city's sake that they can seek improvement this summer. I still think they should fire Joe Dumars, though. I'm not going to lie. After 1 summer, after 1 year, I think they should. I think they should at least. Shout out the Knicks, man. They won 7 games in a row. They're one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They beat all poopy caca dumpster teams, but that's what you're supposed to do in the NBA. You're supposed to win those games. So shout out to the New York Knicks for winning those games. Now, I didn't add a segment for this, ladies and gentlemen, but I would like to make note of it. I feel like I really, sometimes I think to myself to not talk about the Pistons because I don't want you guys to think that like this podcast, all I do is talk Pistons, when I've been really conscious about not talking about the Pistons since like the first 2 months of the NBA season. But I think I do have to talk about this. I didn't make a segment for it, but I feel like I have to discuss this. In case you guys didn't see yesterday, it was reported from Jeff Schwartz, which is Cade Cunningham's manager. He came out and said, Cade has delivered a first-team All-NBA season. If he falls just short of an arbitrary games played threshold due to legitimate injury, it should not disqualify him from recognition. He has clearly earned over the course of the season. The league should be rewarding excellence, not enforcing rigid cutoffs that ignore context. An exception needs to be made. And of course, I like the sound of this, but I just don't know if the rest of the league is. According to Tim Reynolds, he said the National Basketball Players Association, or sorry, I think that's Press Association. I don't remember, is calling for the 65-game rule to be abolished or reformed to create an exception for significant injuries in the case of Cade Cunningham. So, okay, somebody in the TikTok is an actual moron. That's why I don't really read the TikTok chat. He said, so if that's the case, Luka should win MVP. What correlation does that have? What correlation in your brain? What in your brain says, okay, then what are we saying? Now, I would like to point something very interesting out, ladies and gentlemen. Back in the day, back in the 80s, if you guys are wondering, I need to give some context behind the 65-game rule a little bit. I need to give some context around this rule. Why did this rule come to be? Now, let me explain. Back in the 80s, even back in the 90s, right? Players who played half a season would win the All-NBA awards. They would win those awards. Do you need a sorry, I just realized my Twitch chat saw my likes on Twitter. You guys didn't see anything, man. You guys did not see anything. Podcast listeners, I don't know what they're talking about. I have no idea what they're talking about. Just ignore what you think you might have saw. Okay. So let me continue. Just ignore. Listen, y'all. Listen. I'm on Twitter the same amount as you guys, all right? And I see some things and I like some things, all right? So okay, let me chat, this is a professional show and you guys are ruining what we're trying to do around here, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, let me give some context behind why the 65-game rule exists, all right? Back in the day, 80s and 90s players would be playing half the season. They would play half the season, and they would still be eligible and still win All-NBA awards. I'll give you one example. Scottie Pippen in, I believe, 1998? Scottie Pippen in 1998. He played 44 games. Somebody in the TikTok said, not true. All right, you guys have no brain cells over there. That's why I tell you guys to come through to the Twitch, like my homie Truly Blocking. Thank you for the follow on Twitch, my boy. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok, making the smart move on your brain and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you. Scottie Pippen in 1998 he played 44 games, and he also won All-NBA third team. Not just that, he was also an all-defense team. A player, Scottie Pippen, played 44 games in 1998. He was named All-NBA third team and an all-defensive team. Sorry, it was 1997. My apologies. 1997. So, the NBA didn't have a problem with that back then. They didn't have a problem with that because players weren't resting for load management. Players were resting because they were genuinely injured. If you guys remember, Scottie Pippen was not injured. He was not injured. He just didn't want to play with Jordan anymore. You guys remember that whole spiel. If you guys watched the Last Dance documentary, you remember Scottie. He just did not want to play basketball. Okay? So, I'd like to continue. The NBA saw that during big time games on national television, Joel Embiid was sitting. He was in 98. Thank you. It was 1998. See, why do I listen to the TikTok chat, man? TikTok, if you guys truly want to get involved in the basketball conversation, come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. There's one guy that's just spamming not true about the whole Scottie Pippen point. Get away from idiots like that and come through to the Twitch, all right? LaFlame, Truly Blocking, and Ayo, thank you guys for the follows on Twitch. I genuinely appreciate y'all so much. You guys made a smart decision. Be sure to join the Discord as well when you join the Twitch stream. So Scottie Pippen, who sat out for half the season and still got named on the all-defensive team and all-NBA third team, why can't Cade, who had his lung collapse, get an all-NBA first selection? I don't get it. So now you start getting confused, right? You start seeing responses. In fact, most of them are about Joel Embiid, which I don't blame people for saying. The issue is like you are looking at Joel Embiid, who has had injuries his entire career, right? And to be fair, Cade has only played more than 60 games this season and last season in his career, okay? So through all of this, you're looking at these players and you are punishing them for a few guys sitting out for load management. This was because of Joel Embiid. So for everybody who's complaining, rules are changed to combat cheaters. And I'm not saying Joel Embiid was cheating, but he was cheating the audience. He was cheating the game. Shit, he was cheating himself. If you're hurt, don't play. If you're genuinely hurt, don't play. If you guys remember, Kawhi Leonard sort of started this when he got, I guess, Greg Popovich in a sense. If you guys remember, Tim Duncan would get DNPs and the reason would be old. Like, some people just don't remember that, but I remember being a kid and seeing old in the injury report for Tim Duncan and cracking up because that's load management. So Greg Popovich genuinely started this. You can blame Uncle Dennis for Kawhi, absolutely, and sitting out and getting traded to the Raptors. But at the end of the day, they changed the rule for Joel Embiid, right? Now, here's the issue here. You are now having players like Victor Wembanyama, like Cade Cunningham. Shit, Nikola Jokic if he misses one more game. Shea if he misses a couple more games. There is no reason that players with legitimate health issues and concerns are getting impacted by these ticky-tack rules now. You can keep this. Maybe keep 65 games for the MVP. But at the end of the day, for all NBA, if you were rewarding players in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s for playing half the season, there's no reason you can't reward a player like Cade Cunningham, like Victor Wembanyama, like Nikola Jokic for missing 1, 2, maybe 3 more games than their body allowed them to. So, to combat the argument in the TikTok, if you're injured, you can't be rewarded. Explain all the players who missed half the season back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and early 2000s who missed half a season and still got awarded. There's no reason that one day, 50 years from now, when we're looking back and you see Cade Cunningham only has, let's say, 7 All-NBA selections, but he had his lung collapse. So now we're talking about Cade Cunningham or Kevin Durant one day. Maybe they have the same amount of rings. Maybe they're both up there in like scoring efficiency, all that stuff. maybe you look back then and say, I think I'd rather have KD over Cade Cunningham because he has 2 more All-NBA selections. It's truly and genuinely something that needs to be addressed, I think. Now, I think the way to fix this, right? I think the way to fix this would be maybe keep MVP at 65 games. Keep MVP at 60. Guys, don't get upset with my Durant comparison. It was the first name that came to mind because I like Kevin Durant, okay? Like, don't think that was a slag. Kevin Durant's one of the most efficient players in NBA history, all right? I think MVP should stay at 65 games, okay? Now, the data backs that aspect up, okay? The data backs that evidence up. Now, let me explain. The last MVP to play less than 60 games was Bill Walton in the 70s. So, for the last 60 years, 70 years, the NBA has been awarding players who play more than 60 games for MVP. That's how it's been. That's how it's always been. The last time an MVP won playing less than 60 games was Bill Walton 70 years ago. So that's not an issue. The issue is all NBA and other DPOI, Rookie of the Year, all these other awards. I think personally, now I am just a random guy living in North Carolina that's from Detroit, okay? In my opinion, I think MVP should stay at the 65 games. If you are genuinely the MVP of the league, then you need to be a top team in whatever your respected conference, a guy who led their team in that conference, and a guy who played 80% of the basketball season. I think that's only fair. Now, for all NBA, for Defensive Player of the Year, for all those other awards, I'm thinking somewhere between 55 and 60. I genuinely think 55 and 60. That means you played 70 to 80% of your season. I think that's fair. Now, people are telling me, but when it was Embiid, it was a problem. Yes, when it was Embiid, it was a problem because Embiid has never been healthy. There's differences here. You are punishing Victor Wembanyama for getting a blood clot, a legitimate injury. You are punishing Cade Cunningham for having his lung collapse, a legitimate injury. If Joel Embiid has never been healthy, then what can you credit there? What can you say? The exception should be for a critical injury, not tic-tac, I think it's better you don't play. No, it's literally, hey, Cade, hey, Vic, you cannot play basketball or you will do irreversible damage to your body. So, I'm glad the National Basketball Players Association is calling for a 65-game rule change. I doubt it happens this year, but I think, as a fan, I think this is the way to go. Now, people want to tell me Embiid has had so many critical injuries, and while I agree, missing 50 to 60 games should disqualify anybody from being eligible for any award. I don't agree with Scottie Pippen playing half a season and getting awarded All-NBA third team and an all-defensive team, but Victor Wembanyama, who gets a blood clot, now has one less opportunity at catching Scottie Pippen for an all-defensive team. Think about that for a second. A player who played 44 out of 82 games because he just didn't want to. He waited to get surgery until the season started because he just didn't want to play. He felt disrespected with his contract. He just didn't want to play. So he waited to get a surgery. And now Victor Wembanyama misses out because of a blood clot. Cade Cunningham misses out because of his lungs collapsing. So now my sweet Prince Cade has to rush back from his lung collapse and try to play 4 more games, 20 minutes each game, to try to make it to satisfy this rule. And I think there should be a game requirement. I just don't think it's this one. That's my opinion. That wasn't supposed to be a part of today's show, but I'm glad we spoke about it. Now, I would like to give some massive shout outs for people leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I can't convince everybody on what I say. I see the TikTok insulting me, saying horrible take, buddy's just yapping. You don't know anything, and that's okay. That's why I prioritize reading my Twitch stream, which is my community. If you guys want to join my community, be sure to swing on into the Twitch. If you guys come to the Twitch stream and watch for 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription, which means you'll be ad-free for a month. Uncle Games, Who is Brand, LaFlame, Block, and Ayo. Thank you guys so much for the follows on Twitch. Shout out to you legends for leaving the TikTok and joining my community. I appreciate y'all so very much. Thank you, everybody. And let's move on with today's show. The next game I wanted to cover from last night was the Magic losing 6 games straight as they fall in Cleveland, 136 to 131. Now, this game last night was really aggravating me. There was no defense being played. If you guys watch this game, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was just a shootout. I don't like these kinds of NBA games. Call me crazy, call me unk, call me old head. I don't like just trading bucket after bucket after bucket, rewarding foul after foul after foul after foul. I'm not a fan of games like that. I like seeing resistance being played. And in the last 2 minutes of the game, finally, defense was being played. Harden was dishing it up. He had a great game last night. I'm sure you guys saw that crazy assist he had behind his back through 2 defenders out to Strus for the 3. I think beautiful basketball is a nice combination of the two. I think scoring 110, 115 points is like my ideal. I don't want to see 90 to 90. Those games are ugly. Those games are slugfests. But I like, my sweet spot's like 110 to 115. I like that range in games because it shows you that there was defense played. It's just modern basketball taking over. Obviously, I got to give some special shout outs to some players in this game. But first, I want to say thank you to D-Mob and Orlando for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Let me know what fans of the team that you guys are. And be sure to join the Discord as well. The link is right there in the chat. If you type in !Discord, be sure to join the Discord, join the community. We'd love to have you guys be a part of that as well. Shout out to everybody leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate very, 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 very much. I hope to see more of you guys swing on in. I gotta respond to this comment because I know it's off topic, but I do want to respond to him since it's his first message in the Twitch chat. Blockin came in and said, be sure to join the Discord as well. He said, do you think the Mavs gave up on the AD, Kyrie, and Coop trio too soon? No, in fact, I think they should have moved on from Kyrie Irving as well. Got some pieces back for him. I think they genuinely needed to hit reset. They got Coop. Let's start a brand new rebuild around them. Neither Kyrie Irving or Anthony Davis's timelines line up with Cooper Flag. D-Mob, I appreciate you for coming through to the Twitch, my boy. Be sure to join the Discord as well. I don't know anybody who wants Kyrie coming off an ACL injury. Of course, you'd want to see how he plays. But I think Kyrie's going to be a good mentor to Cooper Flag. I think that's the only reason why they went ahead and kept him. And because they couldn't get much value for him. All right, let's continue with this game. The Orlando Magic lost their 6 games straight. Now, this is depressing because the Orlando Magic won 7 games straight. And now all of a sudden they've lost 6 straight. And this is sort of how it's been for the Orlando Magic this season. I'm seeing Magic fan after Magic fan after Magic fan after Magic fan finally renounce their fandom to this team. And it's quite depressing. It's quite depressing. Now, of course, we all know the Orlando Magic are missing Jonathan Isaac, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, Jace Richardson. Of course. I'm not going to not say that. But this was another bad loss for the Orlando Magic. Paolo Banchero, I think, had a great game. 36 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He was a -3 on the court. He had 5 turnovers, which hurt his efficiency, but he shot 10 for 19 from the field, which is pretty good. And he had 15 free throws, which I am jealous of. When I see these players have those kinds of free throws numbers, and multiple guys had those free throw numbers in this game. Yeah, I see a lot of people talking about the Mavs and like talking about other things. So LaFlame, be sure to join the Discord. Lando, I hope you join the Discord. I hope all of you guys in the Twitch stream right now join the Discord because playoff basketball, we're going to be doing watch parties in there. It's going to be absolutely insane. Be sure to join the Discord, everybody. !Discord. Love to see you in here, Orlando. If you're an Orlando fan as well, we need another Orlando fan. Okay? We need it. We only have one. So be sure to join the Discord as well, Orlando. And remember, guys, if you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you guys a $5 subscription so you get ad-free viewing for a month. On the other side, I do want to talk about the Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, just look at these 2 stat lines. 42 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. He was 14 for 22 from the field, and he didn't miss a single free throw. He had 11 out of 11 free throws. Okay? On top of that, James Harden, 26 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 8 for 16 from the field, 6 for 7 from the free throw line, 4 for 6 from deep. I mean, this is an amazing game, man. This is an amazing game. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing game. When I see these teams go up against each other, I see both flaws flare at once. They both realize that, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers are missing Jared Allen and Craig Porter Jr. When I see these teams, I immediately get scared of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then I immediately get sad for the Orlando Magic. Genuinely, I get sad because I've talked about the Magic way too much this year, and I'm honestly not going to talk about the Orlando Magic much today. I talked about them a lot yesterday. I talked about them a lot 2 weeks ago. I've talked about this team almost every week, and I feel like I'm on a seesaw right now. We're up, and then we're down, 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 down. We're up, and we're down, 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 down. And now, of course, my one Orlando fan, Mark, he told me 2 days ago that, hey, just 2 years ago, we took the Cavs to 7 games. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's 2 years ago. A lot of things have changed around the NBA in 2 years. I wouldn't really hold on to that and cling for that minimal success of taking the Cavaliers to 7 games. I would like to say, step up. Thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it very, very much. Shout out to the legends who are leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And shout out to Who Is Bro as well for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch. Welcome on in, everybody. I hope to see more of you guys leave the TikTok and stick around in the Twitch stream. It's a much, 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 much better experience over here, guys. As well as join the Discord, !Discord in the chat. Okay, we'd love to have you guys join that too. That's where the real community is hanging out, as well as the Twitch. So the Orlando Magic, honestly, it's been a seesaw. Obviously, they don't have Franz Wagner. I've talked about this team so much. They've lost 6 games in a row. I believe they have fallen even further down in the standings. I have to confirm that. The Orlando Magic are the 8th seed. The Hornets are I guess it's a 3-way tie. It is a 3-way tie right now, ladies and gentlemen. The Miami Heat are the 10th seed. The Charlotte Hornets are the 9th seed, and the Orlando Magic are the 8th seed. Now the Orlando Magic are 3 games behind the Hawks. Pistons play the Hawks tonight on ESPN, national televised. So it should be interesting to see what happens with the Orlando Magic. But honestly, if we're just fighting for an 8th or 7th seed, it's been a failed season. We all know it's been a failed season, and it's depressing that it's been a failed season. Health isn't on their side. Health has never been on their side, and I think the team just, I don't think they built a good team. And with Mosley, they risked their entire future. I don't know. There's so much wrong with the Orlando Magic. It's quite depressing. I'd love to answer that question right now, who is bro, but unfortunately that is not the segment. I will talk about that in just a second. But yeah, the Orlando Magic lost again. That's their 6th loss in a row. And the Cleveland Cavaliers are rolling right now. They've won 4 in a row. The Cavs, honestly, are the team that terrifies me most. The only thing I could rely on is the fact that Donovan Mitchell has never made a conference finals in his career, and James Harden is James Harden in the playoffs. So those are the only things I'm holding to as a Pistons fan. Not that I'm hating on the Cavs. It's just these are things that I'm coping with. So yeah, shout out the Cavs for winning this game. Honestly, it was pretty back and forth at the end. The Cavs were trying to lose this one, to be honest. But James Harden wouldn't let him. Donovan Mitchell wouldn't let them. Big shots were hit at the end of the game. I love Tristan DeSilva. He's a great player. But unfortunately, Paolo Banchero just didn't have the help he needed. He just didn't have the help he needed. And like I said, there was no defense played last night. If you guys watch this game, I mean, looking at the scoreboard is so telling, obviously, that there's no defense. But if you guys watch this game, you could have just tuned in for the last 6 minutes of the game. And you're just watching bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket. Let's move on to my next segment real quick. This one's not going to take as long. First of all, Neil Linda, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it very, very much. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate it very, very much. Let's move on to the Nuggets-Suns game. I just don't have much to say. The Nuggets win 3 straight as they narrowly escape Phoenix, 125 to 123. If you guys watch this game, applaud to you. This game ended at 2:20 a.m. Eastern. Listen, I got to be honest, everybody. I'm not staying up to watch a game that tips off at 11:15 p.m. I'm not. The game started at 11:15. I fell asleep 5 minutes in. I can't do it. So I watched this game this morning, and I noticed at the end of the game, Jokic and Jamal Murray took over. But overall, it was just a free throw contest. 67 free throws between the two teams. 67 free throws between the two teams. 67. 6-7. Fuck. Excuse my French. I'm not staying up for that. I'm not staying up until 2:30 in the morning. Now, the thing is the Suns are missing so much. The Suns are missing Dylan Brooks. They're missing Mark Williams. They have no interior presence. And because they have no interior presence, the Denver Nuggets scored 58 points in the paint, which they don't typically do. Yeah, it was just a foul battle at the end of the game. Fourth quarter was just foul after foul after foul. And I got to be honest, everybody. It was Jokic foul baiting, Booker foul baiting, Jamal Murray foul baiting, Devin Booker foul baiting, Jokic foul. It was just a foul contest. I'm not staying up till 2:30 in the morning to watch this. Now, great shot, great play drawn up at the end of the game. Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, their two-man game is undefeated, and Jokic hit this easy pull, and the Suns drew up a horrible play to win the game. It wasn't a horrible play, but it wasn't a good shot by Devin Booker. And that's how that game ended. I really don't have much to say about it other than the Denver Nuggets have won 3 straight. These are 3 big wins. These are 3 big wins because now they're starting to separate from the Timberwolves and the Rockets. Yeah, they were also hack-a-shacking Iguodala for the Phoenix Suns because he was their one big man and he had a lot of energy bringing onto the court. I mean, he shot 6 for 7 last night. He shot 6 for, oh my God, the 6-7s are out and ready to fucking party. All right, guys, the last takeaway I have from the final game last night would be the Charlotte Hornets just absolutely clobbering I'm going to put this in quotes, the Sacramento Kings. They were not the Sacramento Kings. Royce O'Neal had a good game last night as well. Shout out Royce. Shout out Rolls Royce. I love Rolls Royce. I can't talk about him enough. The Hornets killed a team Okay, I just have to show everybody this because I was like looking at this game last night, just giggling to myself. I just need you guys to see these plus minuses for the Sacramento Kings, okay? Now, mind you, first, let me say this. They're missing Russell Westbrook. I say missing. They are sitting Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, Drew Eubanks, DeAndre Hunter, Precious Achiuwa, Killian Hayes, new signee, Keegan Murray, and Neek Clifford. They're missing all of those guys, okay? Look at these plus minuses. DeMar DeRozan, minus 29. Patrick Baldwin Jr., minus 28. Maxime, minus 42. Malik Monk, minus 39. Devin Carter, minus 36. And Daquan Plowden, minus 25. That is not basketball, ladies and gentlemen. That is some other shit. That is some other shit. Because the Hornets, I think we can all agree, they did not have a good Hornets game in the sense of a good Hornets game. Like, Con Knippel didn't shoot as well as he does. Brandon Miller shot 30%. He didn't play well. Miles Bridges only put up 9 points on 50% shooting. LaMelo Ball had an average game, like just a normal game for LaMelo Ball. Moussa Diabate had an average game for Moussa Diabate. Ryan Kalkbrenner, okay, decent game. Zion James, decent game. But then you go down and it's like everybody had a decent game. And when you look down a roster and everybody has a decent game and then one guy has an incredible game like Kobe White, who was a potential stud of the night last night, dropping 27 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, plus 26 in the game, 9 for 12 from the field and 6 for 8 from deep. I mean, what more can you ask for? They didn't have to play a good game. They all just had to play okay to beat a team that, I mean, that's not a basketball team. That what the Kings put on the court last night was not a basketball team. Can we all agree to that? So yeah, man, those are all my opinions on last night's games. I hope you guys enjoyed my little breakdown of everything. If you guys feel like I missed something, definitely let me know. Let me know. I'm very curious. Somebody in the TikTok said, we tanking, chill. Rico, I don't have a Kings fan in my Twitch chat. I don't have a Kings fan in my community. I'd love to see you come through to the Twitch stream, bro. I'd love to see all of you guys in the TikTok come through to the Twitch stream. We'd love to have you guys here, man. Link in my bio, Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. I'd love to have you guys come through. That's all I have for last night's games, guys. But I did prepare a very fun segment for y'all at the end of this show. A very fun segment. A very, very, very fun segment. And for the fellow who spamming for the last hour to unblock you on Twitch, you just got blocked on TikTok as well. It's unfortunate being a sexist loser in this world gets you. Doesn't get you anywhere. Good luck in life. Let's move on to my final segment of today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the final segment. You guys ready? It's called Would You Rather. We've done it before. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to let me know what you would rather, okay? Now, the first one was brought to me by our longtime viewer, our audience member, hey, it's Liam. Liam brought this to me last night, and it had me thinking, and I think I came to a conclusion, but of course, this is a group game, so I want to play this with y'all, okay? Guys, would you rather healthy Zion Williamson or healthy Paolo Banchero? Now, I'm going to go over some things you don't have to answer right away. This year, Zion Williamson, he is 25 years old. He's averaging 21.5 points, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1 steal, half a block, under 30 minutes, shooting 60% from the field, 71% from the free throw line. Paolo Banchero. This season, he's averaging 22.7 points, 8.5 rebounds, 5 assists, almost a steal, half a block, in 35 minutes of play, shooting 46% from the field. 57% true shooting versus Zion Williamson's 64% true shooting. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I'm going to show you guys their best versions of each other. Zion Williamson 2 years ago and Paolo Banchero last year, because those are technically his best numbers ever. Okay, let's look at them. Paolo Banchero last year was averaging 25.9 points, let's say 26 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shooting 45% from the field, 55% true shooting. 55% true shooting. Now, Zion from 2 years ago was averaging 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, over a steal, almost a block, shooting 57% from the field, and 61% true shooting. So my question is, healthy Zion Williamson or healthy Paolo Banchero? Neither player had great shooting splits, but as far as career-wise, Zion Williamson does take the cake on true shooting and field goal percentage. Now, mind you, Paolo Banchero is 23. He's turning 24 this year. Zion Williamson is turning 26 this year. So he is 3 years older? No, he's 2 years older. He's 2 years older than Paolo Banchero. So my question is, with how efficient Zion Williamson is right now versus Paolo Banchero, who would you guys take? I'm seeing a lot more Zions than I am seeing any Paulos. And honestly, that's my answer as well. I'm going to go with Zion Williamson. I think 2 years doesn't really make a whole difference. I think Zion Williamson, yeah, I love this comment from Who Is Bro that just came into the Twitch stream. He said, this is a prime healthy Zion we're talking about. Zion would have a nasty motor if he was fully healthy. I fully agree. He's ridiculously athletic. He's ridiculously efficient. My one Magic fan, Mark, came in and said, LMAO. He thinks, obviously, he's taking Paolo. So okay, my question is the only person that's taking Paolo our one Magic fan? Where's our homie Orlando that just joined the Twitch stream? Is Orlando still here? Because he is our only other Magic fan. I'm curious what the other Magic fan would say. A healthy Paolo or a healthy Zion? I don't think he's still here, unfortunately, but I wish he was so that he can let us know. He said Zion? Did he say Zion? Our other Orlando fan? I don't see that comment, unfortunately. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. And there's no wrong answer, really. They're basically the same player, except one's more efficient. That's it. I'm going to go with Zion Williamson. I'm going to go with Zion Williamson. I think Zion doesn't really need the ball to be a good player. I think we all know if Paolo doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's not scoring. Magic fans can attest to that as well. If Paolo does not have the ball, he's not scoring. He's a horrible off-ball player. And Zion Williamson this year has proven that he can be off ball and on ball. So I'm going to go ahead with Zion Williamson. He can create his own shot. Nobody's going to stop him get into the hoop. And yeah, he can score off ball. And Zion has great efficiency. Yes, of course. I like that comment as well. Paolo has sheer volume. I agree. Now, there's no wrong answer, so I'm not going to get upset with whatever you guys opt for. But I personally, I'm going to roll with Zion Williamson. Now, guys, we got a couple more, okay? And these are really fun. So I hope you guys are excited. This one's going to take a little bit of brain power. So I want you guys to think, okay? But don't think too much. I'm going to read you stat lines by some of these players. And I want you to tell me what player you'd rather have. Player A or player B, okay? Now, I would like to make note of their ages. I didn't put their ages. I will tell you their ages after, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, would you rather have player A, who averages this season 22.7 points per game, 10.4 rebounds, 8 assists, playing 35 minutes per game with a field goal percentage of 49%, or player B, who is averaging 19.2 points per game, 10.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists in 27 minutes of play with a field goal percentage of 64% field goal percentage. The reason why I selected this one, and most of these topics that I'm bringing to you guys today, are players who are commonly compared. So that's why I want to bring these to your guys' attention. These players are commonly compared, okay? Now, I'm seeing a lot of player Bs. In fact, not a single player A is sort of insane to me. Now, I would also like to make a note. Player A is 24 years old. Player B is 22 years old. I would also like to make another note. Player A is a 6 seed in the East. That's making it more obvious on who these players are. Player B is the number 1 seed in the East. Both All-Stars this year. Both first-time All-Stars this year. Player B is 22 years old. Player A is 24 years old. So in case you guys haven't figured this out yet, this is Jalen Johnson as player A. The same defensive stats. That's why I didn't add them. Essentially the same. Player A is Jalen Johnson and player B is Jalen Duren. I've only seen one player. I've seen two people say player A, which is very impressive. I'm very impressed. I'm very surprised actually at how many people took Duren on the right. Yes, those are the correct stats from this season right now. Jalen Duren, who was player B, those are his averages in only 27.7 minutes per game. JB Bickerstaff does not play his best players much other than Cade Cunningham. And then Jalen Johnson right there. Yeah, pretty much same defensive stats. And I think, in my opinion, I'm going to roll with Jalen Duren. And I hope you guys know that has no bias at all. You guys know my opinion on Jalen Duren. You guys know my opinion on it. Exactly. Jalen Duren has stretched this game out to the mid-range as well. And I think next year you're going to start seeing him attempt threes. I genuinely believe that. Jalen Duren has a great, beautiful jump shot form. If you guys have played against the Pistons, have noticed that. I think it's very interesting to compare these two players as they've been compared a lot this year because both of them will obviously be top dogs for most improved player. If you want to ask me who I believe is like a better individual talent, obviously I'm going to roll with Jalen Johnson. But as far as a player I can look at and say, hey, you're a 1B or a 1A, you know what I mean? Like, can we just say, chat, we have not seen a center like this since Dwight Howard. A center that can play on ball, you can play through him, but he can also just absolutely body anybody that's on the court. Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Victor Wembanyama, you name him, he's bullied them all this year. The issue with Jalen Duren is his defense. Now, his perimeter defense has improved quite a bit this year. I have to give credit where credit is due. His perimeter defense has improved. My main issue with Jalen Duren is his paint protection. Without having Asar Thompson on the court or Isaiah Stewart next to him, he suffers. He does suffer. And Jalen Duren is going to get a max contract off the backs of Asar Thompson and Isaiah Stewart. In case you guys don't know, if you're unfamiliar with the Pistons rotations, the Pistons play defense well at the start, but the offense is sort of lackluster without Cade right now. And then the first player off the bench for the Pistons is Isaiah Stewart. So right there, Duren is protected by Isaiah Stewart and Asar Thompson. So would I give Jalen Duren the max? Yes. The issue is if he gets all NBA, that max extension is going to turn into a $288 million deal. I would not personally give that. He has not shown me enough improvement on his paint protection, and his engine. You can tell what kind of game Jalen Duren's going to have within the first 2 minutes of the basketball game. If he does not look like he wants to play, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. Be sure to join the Discord, guys. If you are in the Twitch stream, be sure to join the Discord, as well as Rico Bands. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Be sure to join the Discord as well. I know you're a Kings fan. We need Kings fans in the Discord. So be sure to swing on and join the Discord. That is a lot of money for a guy that does not play both sides incredibly well. Now, Jalen Duren can improve. He can improve. He can. He absolutely can improve. His biggest issue is his effort. Does he want to put that effort on defense? Because if he does, man, if he does, we're looking at the next great big man in today's NBA. And Jalen Johnson, of course, he's a triple-double machine. He's 24. He is older than Jalen Duren. And I love what I see from Jalen Johnson. And I'm very excited to see what can happen. I'm very excited to see what can happen in his career. I'm excited to see him play with like a prolific guard. They got NAW. Now they just need a great guard. They just need a great guard that can still hold his own somewhat defensively. And I agree. Who is bro? I mean, these young players, they struggle with things. Fouling early, maybe getting down on themselves, lack of effort. I agree. And that's why they're young, man. You just hope they can grow out of it. Players like Andre Drummond never grew out of it. Players like Andre Drummond never grew out of those lack of engines, you know? So you just hope that a Jalen Johnson and Andre Drummond can also climb back out of that. All right, guys, we got two more would you rathers. All right. We got two more would you rathers. All right. OT15, I appreciate the follow on Twitch. Yes, indeed. I was a Warzone streamer. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Shout out to all the goats that are leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. Ladies and gentlemen, I got two more would you rathers. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Now, of course, these are comparisons that I brought to you guys that I see on Twitter on the daily, okay? Now, unfortunately, this one involves another Piston, but I'm really curious as to what you guys have to say. Would you rather build your team around Cade Cunningham or Anthony Edwards? There's no wrong answer, I believe, or maybe there is. You guys can tell me what you guys believe. Would you guys rather build a team around Cade Cunningham or Anthony Edwards? This should be a pretty difficult decision for you guys. So don't rush on your answer. I'm not going to be upset by your answer. I am a Pistons fan. I am a Cade fan. And I think we pretty much share close to the same answers. You know, this is why I'm happy. Okay, I feel like this has to be said, but both healthy. Pran, thank you for insulting my sweet prince. Both healthy. Now, I'm really happy with the responses here. At first, it was a lot of Ants. Next, it was a lot of Cade, which is fun. Now, I think I love that comment that was just said in the Twitch. Who is bro said Cade, because Ant plays a heliocentric style without hardened scoring ability. I don't agree with that ending of that sentence, but I do like that comment because here's what I can say. If Cade Cunningham had the team that Anthony Edwards had around him for the last couple of years, are we having any doubts about this conversation, ladies and gents? Exactly. No, that's not a cop-out. That is not a cop-out, Pran. That you took the words out of my mouth. Is it a cop-out to say depends on the team? That's not a cop-out at all. But again, if you had given Cade for those last few years Anthony Edwards' team, I'm very curious. Cade is one of the clutchest players in the NBA, Sam. The stats back that up. I think he's top 4 clutchest player in the NBA right now. So I'm happy by those responses. I don't think there's a true wrong answer. It sort of depends on what kind of basketball fan you are. You know what I mean? For me, I would build around Cade. And I know I'm going to say no bias. I trust you guys believe me when I say no bias because you guys know how objective I am on this podcast. I think Cade Cunningham is way more malleable of a player. He's averaging 10 assists this season. I think he can make everybody around him better. Look at what he did with Jalen Duren. Look what he's doing with Tobias Harris in 2026. Look at what he's doing with Asar Thompson who can't shoot. Look what he's doing with a number 2 guy being Duncan Robinson. If you are building from scratch, I'm taking Cade Cunningham. If you need another scorer, if you want to go on scoring, you can roll with Anthony Edwards. I don't think I'm being biased when I say this. I think Anthony Edwards is a great player, arguably one of the best scorers in the NBA. But with Ant, if he's not scoring, what is he doing for your team? I have seen so many games where Cade shoots 30%, 20% from the field, and somehow the Pistons still ink out a win. And that's because Cade gets 15 to 17 assists. And, the credit that Anthony Edwards gets defensively, I think that's gone out the window this year. I think people have been watching Anthony Edwards more often this year and seeing how much of a liability he truly is on defense, especially throughout those injuries on his team, especially when Rudy Gobert was out. You truly saw how much of a liability he is defensively. So when you look at Cade Cunningham and he's bringing it to you defensively, he's bringing it to you offensively on both sides of the ball. I'm talking on ball, off ball, moving the ball. I think, in my opinion, this truly, it's not a no-brainer, but it's sort of what you want as a team. If Ant's not scoring for you, what is he providing to our basketball team? If Cade Cunningham is not scoring for you, he's providing a whole lot else. I've seen it. You guys have seen it. Everybody likes poking fun at Cade Cunningham's lack of efficiency. And while you can poke at that, they're only 6% difference in efficiency. So in my opinion, the amount of buckets that Cade creates for others, his stocks, his playmaking, and his shot ability, I think I'm going to roll with Cade Cunningham. Now, again, I'm not going to get mad at you for picking Ant. But yeah, Cade's going to grab you rebounds. Cade's going to hit you multiple dimes. And if he's not having a great shooting night, he's still going to bring it defensively. I'm not mad at you saying Ant-Man is better. I'm not mad at that. I'm very curious as to see how old the people are who say Anthony Edwards. I'm very curious to see that, because I think Ant is he falls in that LaMelo base where they're swaggy, they have aura. And yeah, Cade doesn't really have aura. He's a girl dad. Cade doesn't, he has aura just by being Cade. He doesn't need to say anything. He doesn't need to talk shade. He doesn't need to say any of that. Anybody that just says Ant is better without giving me any valuable information, it's interesting. I think Ant is a better scorer. Absolutely. I think Ant is a better scorer. He's a 3-level scorer. He's an actual 3-level scorer. Genuinely. You think nobody's more valuable than Wembanyama in the NBA. Nobody is. You can see in Wolves games, if Ant isn't making the shots, the team is lost. Ant might just need better spacing around for playmaking. I still think Cade is a franchise guard instead of a player, especially we're talking about lack of spacing, right? We're talking about a team that runs Ron Holland and Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren in one lineup, right? And we're talking about spacing. I just want to make sure of that. That we're talking about a team that is bottom 3 in three-point shooting in the entire NBA. We're talking about that, right? We're talking about lack of spacing. We're talking about a team that is 12th in three-pointers made versus a team that is 27th in three-pointers made, right? You're comparing apples to oranges here. They're not even close. They're not even similar. The Timberwolves three-point shooting is incredibly better than the Detroit Pistons. It's incredibly better. So if you're talking spacing, that's not great. Cade's efficiency is underwhelming, but man, he raises that team ceiling so much. I agree. That wasn't an option when it came to Paolo. What does Paolo do off ball that you can make an argument for? He does not do anything off ball. Zion does. Jaden said, you can name shooters on the Pistons. Where are the shooters in Minnesota? You have Julius Randle. I'd love to look at the percentages on this team. I'm very curious. Let's just look at some players on this team and just look at percentages. Kyle Anderson is shooting 44% from three. That's better than anybody on the Pistons. I just clicked one guy. Mike Conley, who barely plays, is 31%. Dante DiVincenzo is averaging 38%. That's two guys that are two of the highest. Anthony Edwards is obviously shooting above 40% from three. Naz Reid, okay, this doesn't need to be talked about. They have three guys above 37% so far. That's three guys above 37%. That's more than the Pistons already. Io is shooting 44%. 44% from three. That is four guys other than Ant that shoot better percentages than everybody on the Pistons. Bones Highland, 39%. Okay, so again, I don't know how many threes Kyle Anderson shoots. Let's check. Maybe 2 a game? My guess is we are waffling too far on this topic. Now we are diving too deep into this. He's not even attempting 1-3 a game. Let's not include Kyle Anderson. They still have 4 3-point shooters that are infinitely better than most people on the Pistons. Jaden McDaniels, 41.6% from three. So I'm not gonna allow this conversation to move on. I'm not going to allow this because everybody I just named is infinitely better than everybody not named Duncan Robinson for the Detroit Pistons. Duncan Robinson is averaging, I think, below 40% this year. 40.1. 40.1. 40.1. That's our one guy that's shooting that percentage. Dennis Jenkins, 37.5, lower than everybody I just named. Tobias Harris has got to be shooting below 30%. 34.5. 34.5. That is better than I thought. So when I tell you guys, when the Pistons are stacked with a guy named Karis LeVert that's shooting 33%, or Asar Thompson that's shooting 26%, or I'm not done yet, Ron Holland, who fucking attempts 3 threes a game for some reason, shooting 22%. We are not talking about 3-point shooting. So, by all means, please have a conversation with me when in regards to what team has better spacing when we're comparing the 27th best 3-point shooter. Sorry, 28th. The Pistons are now the second worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have 12. So I don't want to hear anything about spacing. I don't want to hear about that. You throw Dante DiVincenzo on this team, you throw any one of these guys and just give the Pistons another consistent shooter, what happens? I'm very curious. Now, I'm very happy with the responses that you guys gave me. We just got a little bit off topic. We are now moving over an hour in today's show. My final would you rather. This one's a little bit funny. Would you guys rather have 500K or never watch sports again? I just want to see how many people actually consider this. Also, Mahaley, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it a lot. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Would you guys rather have 500K or never watch sports again? This goes for all sports. Cricket, horse racing, basketball, baseball, football, the other football, volleyball, swimming, tennis, pickleball. This goes for everything. 500K, F caring about grown men. 500K and I get to watch sports? No brainer. What? No, you never get to watch sports. You never get to watch sports. You never get to watch sports if you take the 500K. 500K, I'm a Magic fan. Never. 500K, I'll take sports. 500K, not going to lie. I'm taking the 500. Wow, you guys, a lot of people are taking 500K. Bro worded that wrong. Did I say something wrong? Sorry. 500K or never watch sports again. That's what I meant. Sorry. I don't know what I said. June Fully, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you. Shout out to all the legends leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. 500K and I don't have to watch the stress of Detroit teams. Give me sports, go sport. And mind you, this is not like professional sports. This is just all sports. So if you pull up to a basketball court, you got to close your eyes until you can actually play the game. Okay? I'd have to start reading books. I'll take the pain of being a Pels fan. Give me the 500K. What up, Dark? Can I still watch Jay-Z if I take the 500K? Yes, you can. You're not watching the sports. Can I still play sports? Yes, but you cannot watch it. So, like, you cannot watch it from the bleachers. You cannot watch it from the sideline. No, you mean 500K to never watch sports again. Oh, I did word it wrong. Oh, sorry. I did word it wrong. Sorry, guys. I made this at 7:30 in the morning. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Nah, I can make 500K no sweat. Shit, I'm broke. I'm changing up and taking the money. See, I'm really surprised so many people took 500K. I'm really surprised that most people, 98% of you guys took the 500K to never watch sports again. Wow. Wow. You know what? Fuck it. I'll join y'all. I don't want to be the odd man out. I'll be a sheep here. Give me the 500K. Give me the 500K. Fuck it. Who cares? Fuck it. I was going to say I'd rather watch the sports. But yeah, fuck it. I mean, in today's economy, bro, 500K, that's like 500K. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to do it for today's episode. Now, today was a long one. We got a little bit sidetracked, but I don't care. I had a lot of fun. TikTok. Be sure. I mean, you guys come through to the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. Twitch chat, don't go anywhere. Stick around. We are still here. Do not go anywhere. Twitch chat. Be sure to join the Discord as well. TikTok, now's the perfect time to come through to the Twitch stream. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. YouTube, love y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'll be posting this episode in 5 minutes on the YouTube, Spotify, Apple. It'll already be up when you guys tune in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Before I let y'all go, I got to give y'all my stud of the night. There are a lot of options. I could have picked Jokic's triple-double. I could have picked Paulo Banchero's game. I could have picked Kobe White. I could have picked anybody else. Ultimately, I gave it to Donovan Mitchell. His stat line was impressive last night. Donovan Mitchell's stat line last night, 35 minutes. He dropped 42 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. And he shot 14 for 22 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and 11 for 11 from the free throw line. That's 78% true shooting. Shout out Donovan Mitchell. He is our stud of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got nothing left to say except for be sure to be here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern for tomorrow's podcast. Twitch chat, nobody go anywhere. I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Guys, we got some fun NBA basketball tonight. National television, Pistons versus Hawks, Celtics versus Thunder. Lock in, y'all. Thank you for watching or listening, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Have